So here is the poem Ganga. So Ganga is a very holy river, and it is flowing through India, and just whenever it came across Bangladesh, we have the different name of Ganga. We have Podda, right? So the name Ganga is representing holiness. But here, Ganga is the name of a maid servant. So let us see. We pride ourselves on generosity. We pride ourselves on generosity. Look, this poem has been written in free verse. We have seen that one of the qualities of modern poetry is the use of free verse, and Nissim Ezekiel has very much successfully used this free verse poem. The other two poems, that means the very Indian poem and the Night of Scorpion, both of them are written in free verse format, right? So here the same thing we can see. So we pride ourselves on generosity to servants. That means we take pride on our generosity to servants. We are proud of our generosity. Whenever we give something to our servants, we take that pride that we have given something. Then the next line, the woman who washes up suspected of prostitution is not dismissed. The woman who washes up suspected of prostitution is not dismissed. It means that the woman who is working in an Indian house, here the perspective is India. He has written it in the context of India, and that's why I'm talking about India. But it is also very much similar within the whole subcontinent. We are sharing similar kind of culture, similar kind of attitude. So in most of the cases, those maid servants are suspected to be criminals or prostitute, but we didn't dismiss them. They washed us up everything. They cleaned us. They cleaned our house, but still they are suspected to be a prostitute or a criminal. So the woman who washes up suspected of prostitution is not dismissed. She always gets a cup of tea preserved for her from the previous evening. It means that we didn't bother to give her a newly made cup of tea. Rather, we provide her with the tea which was remained in the previous evening. So she always gets a cup of tea preserved for her from the previous evening. We didn't think that we need to give something fresh, something newly made. Rather, we think that she deserved the last one. She deserved this kind of behavior from us. And he continued, look, she always gets a cup of tea preserved for her from the previous evening, and a chapati. So look, chapati is an Indian word which has been infused here in English language. So this is the way Nissim Ezekiel has brought the Indianness in his poetry. This situation is very much Indian. I am telling you, Ganga, the river Ganga, and the purification of Ganga, of the quality of purification of Ganga is very much familiar to us, to the Indians, or to this subcontinent, but it's not so familiar to the foreigners. They need to give a search in the Google to find out what is Ganga or what is the symbolic meaning of Ganga. So here it's a very Indian situation. At the same time, he tried to infuse some Indian words as well. So a chapati, stale but in good condition. So whatever we are offering to that lady, we are taking pride of that. But we are offering not a good thing. Rather, we are offering a cup of tea from the last evening and a chapati. Already it has become stale, but we offer that thing to our maidservant. We can't offer this kind of food to a guest, or we cannot eat even this kind of food. We cannot take this kind of food for ourselves as well. But we can easily offer it to the maidservant. And we take pride of this generosity. And then look, once a year an old sari and a blouse, for which we could easily exchange a plate or a cup and a saucer. That means from us they get an old sari and a blouse. That means it's also not a new sari, an old sari and a blouse, for which we could easily exchange a plate or a cup and a saucer. It is also an Indian incident and Indian circumstances where we exchange our saris, our cloths with the vendors' plates or saucers. This is not available in other countries, right? It is very much available in India or in this subcontinent. Even in Bangladesh, it is very much available. We exchange different kind of things. Earlier in our childhood, we have seen that we can buy chocolate in exchange of few goods from our house. So this is very much familiar to us. But if anyone outside of India wants to read that poem, he first of all need to introduce himself or herself with the Indian tradition, with the Indian culture, or this kind of practice, right? So once a year, an old sari and a blouse, for which we could easily exchange a plate or a cup and saucer. Besides, she borrows small coins for pan or a sweet for her child. So besides this generosity, it's very much sarcastic and satiric. It's a satire towards the contemporary society and their behavior towards their maidservants. So what we generally give them? We give them a cup of tea from the last evening, or a stale chapati, or an old sari and a blouse. And sometimes we give them coins for buying pan. So look at the word, Indian word pan. The use of chapati, pan, these are Indian words. So small coins for pan or a sweet for her child. So this is this type of generosity that we generally do towards a Indian woman, towards a maidservant. And then look at the last two lines. She brings a smell with her and leaves it behind her. But we are used to it. These people never learn. So, because of her economic status, she definitely is not living in a place like us. She can't live in a building, or she doesn't know how an educated people behave. So maybe her living place is a very filthy and dirty. She cannot maintain a lifestyle like us. That is why she bear a very bad smell with her. And whenever she leaves our house, she leaves the smell as well. But look at the way he is satirizing. Nissim Ezekiel is satirizing the contemporary society. He is saying she brings a smell with her and leaves it behind her. But we are used to it, and we are used to it. These people never learn. The last line. These people never learn. To whom he is actually talking about it? He is talking about the maidservant, but it's very much ironical. It seems that he is talking about the maidservant. She will never learn. She belongs to a particular society where these people never learn how to clean themselves. But at the same time, if you think in a different way, these people never learn means we, those who have that maidservant, who are from the elite society, they will never learn. What they never learned? Look, the name has been taken from a very, the name is after a very holy river, right? Ganga, which is the symbol of purification. So here the maidservant's name is Ganga. That means she is the symbol of purification. She comes and washes all the filth of the house. But what we do to her? We showed our generosity in a very strange way. And we took pride of it. We took pride of our generosity. We behaved in a very strange way. Who actually purify us, in return, we behaved in a very ridiculous way with her. So, these people never learn is actually talking about those who behaved with the maidservants in this ridiculous way. So it's completely a satire against the contemporary society and the Indian contemporary society. That means the Indian contemporary society. So if you like to talk about the Indianness here, this poem is also a very good example to talk about Nissim Ezekiel's Indianness. So my dear students, now I am going to talk about another poem, that is Guru, which is similar to Ganga because it is also a satirical poem and full of irony. But unfortunately, I am unable to share the poem with you. I don't have the link at present at my hand. I'm reading from YouTube. Okay, I have seen someone is just reading that poem, and from there I have taken that poem. I'm requesting you to find out the poem Guru, and if not, please let me know whether you have got it or not. Maybe if I give a search, then I can get it in some kind of file, but now it's not at my hand. Anyway, I think you can get it. So, Guru, okay? The saint, we are told, once lived a life of sin. Nothing spectacular, of course, just the usual things. We smile, we are not surprised. So here he is talking about a very hypocritical Guru. He said, the saint, we are told, once lived a life of sin. That means once that Guru lived a life of sin. He was just like a commoner, like a common man. So he lived a life of sin. Nothing spectacular, of course, just the usual things. That means nothing special, but just the usual things. We smiled. We are not surprised. Why they are not surprised? Because this kind of things happened. A guru is not fully a holy man. Rather, he is also a sinner. So, it's not anything extraordinary in the case of this man. Rather, that can happen, and that's why the commoner is not surprised. So we smile, we are not surprised. Unlikely though it seem, we too one day may grow up like him. So it's the believers who believed that one day they also can be like him. Because they are now sinner, one day they will have the opportunity to be like the Guru. So we too one day may grow up like him, dropping our follies like old cloths or creeds. But then we learn the saint is still a faithless friend, obstinate in argument. Look, I'm repeating the line. We too one day may grow up like him, dropping our follies like old cloths or creeds. So the way that saint or the Guru dropped his follies, his vices, just like the old clothes, these commoners, the speaker along with others, as he used we as a pronoun, so I'm saying here the speaker as well as others, they also can drop their sin, their vices or their follies like the old cloths and creeds. But then we learn the saint is still a faithless friend, obstinate in argument, ungrateful for favors done, hard with servants and poor. And then the commoners, that means the speaker, came to know that the Guru or the saint is still a faithless one. He didn't have any faith, but he pretended to be a faithful one. How he pretended? Because his manners with the servant and with the poor is not like a saint. He behaved in a wrong way with the poor, with the servants. Okay, so the next line, let us see just a minute. Yes, so the saint is obstinate in his argument. That means stubborn in his argument. Whenever he argues with others, he is very much stubborn on his decision. And ungrateful for favors done. So these are not the qualities of a good saint, of a guru to whom the people follow. These are the qualities of a sinner who is not in the right path. But this guru has all these qualities of a sinner. So, but then we learn the saint is still a faithless friend, obstinate in argument, ungrateful for favors done, hard with servants and poor, discourteous to disciples, especially men. So whenever the speaker is saying especially men, that means he is also a lecherous. He is lecherous in his characteristics, and that's why he behaved in a wrong way with only the men, not with the women. So he is discourteous to his disciples, especially men. So it's a hint towards his behavior, towards his lecherous behavior. So he's a man of lechery as well. So condescending, even rude to visitors, except foreigners. So this is also a hint towards his behavior, towards his attitude, because foreigners are full of dollars. He didn't behave rude with the foreigners. He behaved rudely only with the visitors from India, right? From his country, not with the foreigners. So condescending, to show oneself as a great one, as an important one, more than the others. So condescending, even rude to the visitors. So he behaved, he showed his condescending behavior and rude behavior to the visitors, but not to the foreigners, because foreigners are full of dollars, and over scrupulous in checking the accounts of the ashram. So scrupulous means very much careful. So he was very much careful and serious about checking the accounts of ashram. So this is also a practice in ashram. People, the visitors, they like to donate money in the ashram, right? Because it's the belief that if they can donate it, then something good will come. Whatever they wish, that will be fulfilled. So this is a very Indian situation. And what he is saying, over scrupulous in checking the accounts of ashram. He is also rather fat. So what is the characteristics that we have got of this guru? He is not at all a holy person. He is just like a common man, and he is faithless friend. He is very much obstinate in his argument. He is ungrateful to his favors. He didn't behave in the same way with all the people. He is rude with the servants.